Hello, everyone. So I thought I would just give you a little bit of a behind the scenes glimpse about my working process in developing this portfolio that you see around me. So we're going to start off. This was the proposal that I created. So I started off, I guess, when I was thinking about this project, I really started off kind of going back and thinking, what did have I really enjoyed about work so far? And that's where I kind of came up with this retro design aesthetic for the website. So I started off by creating a mood board. That's always one of the first steps that I do to help guide my design process. So I think about like what kinds of graphics do I like, am I digging that communicates visually what I want it to. So I came up with this particular mood board. I was really kind of digging this color palette, which translated into the website you see now. So after I made that and kind of, came up with all my planning documents, started thinking about what the organization of my website might be. I originally had quite a few more pages envisioned for this website. It eventually kind of got pared down. I got more, I guess, more clear about the hierarchy that I wanted as I was building it. So there was a bit of change there. So I made this, and then the next thing I did is I got onto my iPad in Adobe Fresco and started drawing out some of these shapes, doing the hand lettering. I have a thing for letters and letter forms, and I really enjoy doing this kind of work in my spare time when I have it. So I created this graphic, and it does have kind of that, like that dotted background and a bit of kind of hand shapes and like this more organic feel, because again I was trying to position myself differently from other things that I see on the web right now, which is very kind of corporate, very just kind of looks the same, white background text, just kind of, yeah, like that homogenistic look that's across the web right now. So once I had created this one graphic, then things started kind of unfolding a little bit more. I went into, so this I did again in Adobe Fresco, and then I brought it into my computer, got rid of the background so that I could have it as this free floating graphic on the website. So as I change the size of the page, that graphic does change to fit it. Also, yeah, it just kind of flows into these other containers below. So then I had this graphic and I was like, okay, now I want to think about what does the rest of this page going to look like. So I headed into do some sketching again. I'm a big fan of sketching, and I started off with this one on the left hand side, and you'll see that some of that feels the same, where there's these kind of like shapes connected by that smoky organic shape. But then as I was doing that, I was like, okay, well, which pictures am I putting there? I'm not exactly sure. That's when I started kind of coming up with some of these other ideas for like the TV and the tape and stuff on the homepage. So then I headed back into Adobe Fresco and then started drawing some of those other shapes. So for example, the cassette, and I just love the way these turned out. I'm so happy with them. The record player, and you could see those on the homepage. So once I had some of these, that really gave me that aesthetic to hang on to really focus my design around. So then I had some of these graphics. I had the overall idea for the page. Then I headed into Dreamweaver to do the coding. So went into Dreamweaver and I did hand code this whole site. So I used a framework called Bootstrap, which is a responsive design coding language. But then, of course, I layered on my own styles and stuff on top of that so that I could get the look that we see today. But it does make some things a little bit easier as far as layout goes. So I started coding in a template and getting things kind of looking the way I want it, making sure things are responsive. So for example, when I say responsive, what I mean is, you know, when you look at it at these smaller phone-sized widths, that the layout changes to be easier so that it's easier to read on mobile. My navigation also collapses down into this this collapsed menu so that they can click and get the menu from there. So I went through and did that coding. Then I headed in and started doing all the pages, the coding for the individual pages. And then I started doing, so this is all the thumbnails and stuff. Then I started coding the different pop-up windows, modal windows. You see, I use quite a bit of comments to keep organized. And so I went through and coded all that, again, making sure that I have responsive code for those different windows that open. So same thing as if I'm on this page and I look at, well, first of all, the thumbnails go into a column rather than being in a grid of 4 on smaller device sizes. Also, that pop-up window fits into the screen a little bit better. The pictures collapse into a single column. So it's really just about making it easier to read on mobile. That was something that was really important to me because of who my target audience is. So then after I had the basic layout of the of those projects, like the project description, the case studies, then I got into my contact page where I started writing out, like first laid it out the form in HTML, styled it up with CSS. Then behind the scenes, there's some JavaScript that passes the information that the user, it's actually, I guess, jQuery, which is built on top of JavaScript, gathers up all the user information and sends it off to a PHP file, which in turn sends the email to me. So I got that working right away. Then I started doing a few of these other graphics, went into Photoshop and I took, this is my thumbnails, for example. I wanted to try to make them appear a little more cohesive with the page. So I overlaid this kind of purple shape to help bring that in. I then also, like I did that with the photo on my contact page as well. So yeah, just started trying to get that cohesiveness. Also did some things like on the home page. I put this picture of learning, like a concept map of the learning theories, but I put that in there and then I'm like, oh, that's kind of smaller if it was on, you know, a smaller device. So then I started adding some things like these, they're called light box windows that opens a picture larger so that people can see more detail. So once I kind of got the main thing, started getting content in, then I was starting to add a little bit of bells and whistles and just some further usability for people coming to the site. So I used Adobe Fresco, Illustrator, Photoshop for the graphics. I came up with the layout in Adobe XD. I did a mock-up in there. Then I moved into Dreamweaver and used HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and PHP to create the functionality of the website. And now I'm doing a video recording, looking back at all of that. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. I think it captures my personality quite well. And final thought, I guess, is that when I think back to that original mood board that I had created, I'll just go to page 3 of this document here again. I look back at this and I think about what was that inspiration that I had, which was really that callback to the early to mid 2000s when the web was super exciting and those kind of colors and so I think about that mood I wanted to capture, and I do believe that I have successfully done that. I am very pleased with both the aesthetic and the functionality of this website. So I would say I can put a check mark on my my goals for this particular project.